is Zach's character, but that bit that we get with the boy and his mother, and more so with the boy, is what drives the theme of compassion and innocence and you know, eh, loving people and being kind to people, and that how far that can go. Um, Now, since things are, and rightfully so, more heightened these last few months, I haven't been to a screening of this one in a while, so I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be, um, it's gone over well with people this last year and a half. I hope they react to it the same way and get that message. Um, but I'm not sure.
I know.
I'm
I think my thing is like with all the statues going down. I'm living in a town where that happened. There are a lot of emotions
yeah,
I've noticed on face.
But
More.
I think it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict because depends on which spectrum you're in and what the people's state of mind is, right?
yeah,
So it depends on what kind of people who watch it. So now that we're not in film festivals, we actually won't get the reactions. I don't know if people
yeah.
will react
It's
online. I don't know,
it's
you know?
yeah. The main thing I think is going to be that shot of the Ku Klux Klan mat, the hood. In that moment, where it kind of sinks in for a sec that, oh, that's who this guy is. Um, I would hope that there would be no misunderstanding of like what that means in the context of the film, but that's a striking image now, more than it was a year and a half ago, even. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
So you are raised in the South. You're raised in North Carolina. Is there where you're from?
Yeah, so I was born in Concord, North Carolina. I went to Appalachian State in Boone for
Okay.
my freshman year, but then I came straight back to Charlotte at UNC Charlotte, then went to the Art Institute of Charlotte, and now I live in Harrisburg, which is right next to Concord and very close to Charlotte. So I've been North Carolina my whole life, Charlotte area my whole life, pretty much.
So
Have you shot any films outside of North Carolina?
A couple shorts in South Carolina, but not very far past the line. I DP'd a feature a little over a year ago that was almost entirely shot in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We did a short film. We ended up in Peachland, South Carolina, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I don't think I've shot anything outside of North and South Carolina. I did do a little documentary for a musician friend of mine in Miami. We did a good bit of shooting down there, but mostly Carolina-based stuff.
So most of your themes are like, I guess themes of your movie and your written work is about either around North Carolina or something related to it, right? So
Yeah, I actually, although we were just talking about how crazy the South can be, particularly with racism and you could say just old school, stuck in their our ways kind of thinking. I do love the South, and I'm very proud of the good parts of the South, and I think North Carolina is still an amazing state. And but when I go to write stuff, it does most of the time end up some kind of Southern. I did 3 Civil War short films, and I set them. Not that the audience even would know this, but I set them in Virginia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Those 3 trilogy kind of series of Civil War shorts I did. So yeah, mostly Southern-based stuff.
So what is your favorite film? Out of all the films that you've shot, the ones, is it something that you've written? Because you're editor, you're cinematographer, you're director, you're writer, you're all that. So what is your favorite film, or what is something that was the most closest to your heart?
Of the ones that I've made?
Yes.
So it would probably come to, I really love Four Pies because Catherine Trail, who's my favorite actress, she's amazing. That was based on her life. That was a true story where her mother, she played the lead in Four Pies, and so she was playing herself, and the mother made 4 pies, one for each of the daughters, 3 daughters, and one for her husband, and she passed away in her sleep that night, and they woke up the next day and said, oh, there's pies here. And that was but that story I really loved, and it was really special for Catherine, and for me to work with her on that was so much fun. So that one holds a special place. But I think it would come down to my favorite would be either Soul Bones or Civil, probably. Civil was the third Civil War film he made. Catherine again was in that film, and Civil was shot just over 5 years ago. It's just has a special place for me because the crew was just the perfect combination of people. We shot it in a day, and the acting was so good in that one. And then I do have, kind of lean, maybe because it's more recent, but Soul Bones, I like the way it looks a lot. Derek Donovan shot that film, and I think me and him both kind of like to do traditional static compositions and let the framing kind of tell the story. And I like the way Derek shot that one a lot. As he shot Civil as well, but on that one we did like documentary style kind of handheld stuff. So, but Civil and Soul Bones and Four Pies all are, I think they're the best films we made probably. I've done a lot of micro shorts, 5 minute or less films, some of them for contests, some of them, just ideas I wanted to get out. And since those are a little bit shorter in runtime, maybe they don't have as much of a lasting impact for me. But yeah, the Civil, Four Pies, and Soul Bones are special to me for sure.
Okay, so anything that you would like to tell your audience or people, and what would you like as a message to give as a writer, as a director, as a producer, and all editor? You do all that. So for people who are aspiring to become something, or people who just want to be part of it,
Yeah,
part of this industry.
Well, I've been so blessed to have these collaborations. I just did another micro short. The contest, it has to be less than 4 minutes. So we just filmed it last weekend, and I just had one crew member, my friend Jonathan, and from him to when we do the bigger shorts and have 8 or 10 crew members, everyone is committed to whatever I've written, and we all treat each other with trust and respect. And I think the main thing, would be for people just to understand that whatever I make is I try its attempt is to be as honest as possible. So even if it's like, Soul Bones is very much could be based in reality. So that one you could say, yeah, that's a very honest film. But even if it's something like Armor, that's kind of an experimental film with this little girl in this kind of, harrowing wooded location. And then she's in the sunflower field. And it's like, it doesn't even have a particular narrative. That one had to be 3 minutes or less. So we just kind of did it in an experimental way, but that, my attempt every time is to just be honest. And even if it's something like Armor that's more experimental and fantastical, it comes from a place of like, well, this is just how I see things. And that amazing, as you both know, the amazing process of filmmaking, from writing to producing and directing and shooting and editing it's just so much fun and satisfying. And things change. They're never exactly how you would imagine, but it's an amazing art form and medium. And
It's
and
4 o'clock.
So,
I love it.
so have you thought about making a full feature? Have you ever thought about it, or no? Or
Yeah. So this last year or so, I ended up DPing 3 small independent features. So I'm getting kind of, and I produced one a couple years ago. Been on those sets and been in charge of stuff and had responsibility. Where we're on like shoot day 20, and I've gotten some good experience doing that. As far as my own, I have a script that I've been making notes on for 2 years. I haven't written much of the script, but I feel like at this point with the notes, I could probably write it in a week at this point. But it's an idea that I would love to write and then direct myself. And it's been about 7 years of making shorts, 24, 25 short films. It's time soon, I hope, to do something feature length, because then it's more of a business and you can sell it and then, hopefully, gain momentum into making features consistently.
So how do you think with the COVID, the 6 feet, keeping the 6 feet distance, how are you able to do that? Are you filming right now? So are you following those rules? I mean, not necessarily checking out. I'm just basically.
I'll be perfectly honest. There's times like when we were shooting last Sunday, a few of us had our temperatures taken recently at like doctor's visits and stuff. So we were like, hey, I don't think I have it. Wear the mask anyway. Sometimes the 6 feet thing is really tricky. I mean, maybe I need to be 2 feet from an actress or something. And it's like, hey, so it's definitely weird. And I'm sure I could have in these last couple months done a better job at it. But like on this feature that I'm going to shoot in September and October, excuse me, I know that we're going to have to take crazy precautions because that's going to be a crew of, I don't know, 12 or 15 probably, and then a cast of 5 or 6 on any given day at least. So I'm going to be learning in the next month how to prepare for that and what we're going to do, because I'm assuming masks, you kind of got to have the mask.
Absolutely.
And it helps so much. It really does. But the social distancing thing is super tricky. So really, I truly appreciate what you all are doing and supporting me with these films. I mean, it means so much because we've made a lot of shorts. These are 4 of my favorite, and we put a lot of work and effort into them, and just to have them screened and shown to people, that's all we want really with these short films. So
not as much exposed to that, it'll be very nice for them to see that in North Carolina, we have talented filmmakers and what they're working on. And if they want to connect with you, if they want to make something, right? It's just, it's a good thing. It's a good exposure.
Even for students, I think, even for students who want to meet directors, people who have done stuff, I think it's a good way to connect with them and give them feedback. So they're always looking for a mentor, so they can come on your sets and actually follow you if you allow it. In certain films they do allow it. So it's important for people to watch, especially students should watch it. I guess promote it to schools and all that. It's important for them to watch it because you learn so much just being on the set. What you learn in class is so different from what you learn actually being and doing the actual work. It's different. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know your dogs are waiting on you, and I don't know if you had somebody ring the bell or something, but you could have gone.
No, that was actually that. I was wondering if y'all could hear that. That's it was a upload I was doing that finished. And the company, I don't know why, but the only sound they have to trigger that the upload is done sounds exactly like a doorbell.
Doorbell, yeah.
But,
and do you
but the dogs will bark if there's a dog or doorbell, because my dogs bark.
Yes, they do.
So your drums, you play drums as well?
I do, yeah. My dad is a really excellent drummer, so I grew up kind of like, playing with him and stuff. I've technically played drums since I was like 4, but I
Are you part of a group, a team, or whatever you call it?
I used to be. I played some shows with a band called the Radio Reds. That was like, gosh, almost 7 years ago.